So it is standard 9, subject history, chapter number 4, economic development. We are going to study India's economic policy in this chapter. Now, what is an economic policy? Economic policy is how we are going to arrange for the money that we require to run the country and how we are going to spend it. That includes a study of the mixed economy, 5-year plans and their successes and failures, nationalization of banks, 20-point program, mill workers strike, and especially the new economic policy of 1991. All these are the subheadings which we are going to learn and understand in this chapter. Starting with the first one, the mixed economy, brainstorming about the kind of economy we would adopt after independence started much before India got independence. Now, everyone was giving their own thoughts and understanding about how India should go ahead, which kind of economy we should adopt to take India forward. All these discussions were taking place in India before we got independence. Our Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru adopted the middle path rather than taking recourse to any extremes. Instead of spending very little and earning very much, or earning very little and spending too much, Pandit Nehru thought and decided to adopt the middle path. Medium way of spending and medium way of earning was what India was looking at. Some countries had adopted capitalism while some had adopted socialism. These were the two types of economies which were prevalent in the world in different countries, and India had learnt about them, understood them, and decided to take the best possible approach, because each type of economy had its own advantages and disadvantages. Which are these two types of economies? In a capitalist system, the means of production are privately owned. Now, when we have a capitalist type of economy, in capitalism, the means of production, that is the factories, mills and industries, are privately owned. They do not belong to the government. They belong to private people. In a socialist economy, the means of production are owned by the state in the name of the society. This is owned by the government. And a mixed economy works both in the private sector as well as the public sector. In order to achieve economic development of modern India, India gave preference to a model of mixed economy. We were allowed to have private production houses as well as state-owned or government-owned production facilities. We can see three parts in this kind of economy. Now, when we are talking about mixed economy, we can see three parts, three different styles. First, the public sector. The industries in this sector are completely under the control and management of the government. For example, production of defense equipment. Private parties are not allowed to manufacture any weapons that are used by the Indian Army. This is a safeguard measure which the government takes up. Second is the private sector. The industries in this sector are owned by the private industrialists, by businessmen, by private people, common people. Of course, the government supervises, keeps an eye on them and controls them too. For example, consumer goods, toothpaste, soap, clothes, shoes, automobiles, whatever we are using, all of them belong to the private sector. We know that Reliance is making big leaps in the production sector. It is owning a big share of the market. We have the Tatas and the Birlas, the Adanis and the Ambanis playing very well in this private sector. Third is the joint sector, in which the government partners with the private players. In this sector, some industries are owned by private industrialists, while some are run under government management. For mixed economy to run smoothly, there is a need for coordination between the private sector and the public sector. Both need to talk to each other, communicate with each other, work together towards the future. This system of mixed economy aims at maximization of production, increasing the production to maximum, and popular participation on a large scale. It means that the involvement of the public is at a large scale. An effort has been made in this system to bring together the good aspects of both the capitalist system as well as the socialist system. Hence, a mixed economy cannot ignore the profit motive. There has to be profit, there has to be an income, there has to be entrepreneurship, there has to be businessmanship, discipline, time-bound planning, etc. All these things are followed strictly in a mixed economy. A mixed economy also naturally tends to give priority to national interest. India first. Importance is given to Indian national interest. Long-term development is stressed upon with priority. We cannot just think about short-term gains. Long-term development, future planning is also given importance. Which are these industries? These are the defense, scientific research, education, roads, railways, waterways, seaport and airport development. These require huge capital investments, but the returns in these areas are delayed. As soon as you start investing or as soon as you start operating these, you cannot expect the profits to come in. The returns are delayed because the investments are huge. Hence, not many private industrialists are keen to invest in these areas. They decide against investing in these areas because the returns are delayed. In such a situation, when the private industrialists are not interested, the government has to take the initiative. It has to step in and it has to start production of these facilities. Thus, India adopted the mixed economy model and 5-year plans and started off on its path of development. India started planning for the next 5 years at a time, 5 years at a time. So the first 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, etc. were carved out and implemented for the development of India. The industrial policy of 1973 increased the speed of development. Now, the government worked on a policy which was related to the industrial sector in 1973, and this helped in increasing the speed of development in India. How? Priority was given in this policy to control the influence of heavy industries, industrial families and foreign industries, and remove the imbalance in regional development. What was happening was some of the industries which were belonging to a particular families or foreign companies, they were creating imbalance in the society. They were creating imbalance in the development of various regions. Some regions were becoming advanced economically and technologically, whereas the other areas were completely ignored. So the government focused on the development of small-scale industries and cottage industries. If the people who are handling the industries, if they are new, if they do not have too much of funds to invest, government stepped in and supported them. Government also started paying more attention to the cooperative sector where people come together from various families and work towards a common goal, work towards a single industry.